Welcome to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast, the podcast where we make 5-minute decisions that can change your business, your relationships, and your life. Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of ProSulam.com and FreedomIn5Minutes.com, and we're here again for another Freedom in 5 Minutes episode. Today's topic is this: trust the process. That and more coming up. I'm just about to hit the chiropractor, so I thought I'd do this one quickly. So if it's a little bit of a rush, I apologize, but I don't want to keep the doc waiting. And so over the last few days or last few weeks, I've had this pain in my back, and it sounds like it was actually from just not stretching out my muscles, and the muscles were like pulling on my pelvis and putting everything out of whack. So that's kind of sucks, yeah. But anyway, I digress. So today's story starts with something that happened last week. So I'm a part of this Wake Up Warrior thing. I love it. I recommend it to everybody. It's amazing. It totally works. I can't say enough good things about it. It totally works. If you go to warriorbook.com, I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but I love it, and it's helped me. It's helped my marriage, helped my family, helped my business, which is what happened with this particular story. So I attended WarriorCon 3 a while back, and if you've been listening to this podcast a while, you've probably heard me do a podcast from WarriorCon 3. And one of the things that we ended up getting at WarriorCon 3 were these music tracks from Jeremy Finlay, who is the marketing director for the whole Wake Up Warrior movement. And he gave away these, I want to say it was 4 or 5 really small tracks that were, they were extremely dramatic and super emotional, amazing. And when you give them away, I'm like, that is so cool. That's awesome. That's great. I'm so glad that somebody else will be able to use that. That sounds so good. I hope people have a blast with that. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I'm ever going to use them. I can't think of how I would use them. Even though they sound amazing, I literally have no idea how I'm going to use them. And so it was interesting because a couple of days after I got back, I was out in the country over here. In the country, if you've never been into the country, part of the way that you get rid of brush and things like that, different, if you're cutting down the branches from trees and stuff, is you make these big huge burn piles. So I was making this big huge burn pile, getting ready to burn it, and as I'm doing that, this idea struck me. This idea of, you know what, I really don't have a good voice for my business. Every time I talk about my business, every time I talk about systems and process virtual assistants, it's always kind of diminishing. It's always kind of dull, kind of, okay, what are those, you know? And I had this inspiration. So I whipped out my phone, just like I'm doing right now. I whipped out my phone and I went to town. Literally, I spoke for about 5 to 6 minutes straight, super passionately. I don't even think I said an once in it. And after that 5 or 6 minutes, I had the most amazing description of what problems my customers typically have and what our solution was. And it was extremely powerful. So that was on my phone. Well, I took that audio, I ran it through Alphonic in order to make it sound amazing. And then from there, I ended up going and using a thing called Magisto, Magisto, to get some stock video and put together a 5-minute movie on exactly showing imagery to what I was saying. And what came out was freaking amazing. absolutely freaking amazing. It was totally inspiration from God. Totally. 100%. And so if you go to prosulum.com, PROSULUM, you'll see that video. You'll see the video and audio. That was done with one audio take and a couple of hours of video. And you'll see just how powerful it is, and explains exactly the problem that most small to medium-sized business owners have, how they're not able to enjoy their life the way they had hoped, and how ProSulum allows them to be able to enjoy their life, spend time with their family, increase their health, increase their wealth, and stop wasting time doing the stuff that they absolutely hate. So why does this even relate to the story? Well, based off of that video, I just put it out there on the community for Wake Up Warrior, and I was like, hey, thank you so much, Jeremy Finlay, for giving me this. This is what I was able to produce. And people loved it. They loved it. So much so, and I wasn't actively saying, oh yeah, you should come and you should come and buy my stuff. Go get a virtual assistant. I was just like, hey, this is how I did it. You guys can do it too. And I had a couple messages, one of which was a guy who saw it and was like, oh my gosh, I need this. I take that back. When he saw it, he said, hey, I had that same exact problem that you talk about in that video. It's amazing. And I need some advice on how to move forward and to solve that problem. So we hop on the phone, we hop on a Zoom call, and and I'm thinking he just wants advice, right? And we're going through, and it turns out he wanted to basically, for me to find a virtual assistant for him and to use my business. And so I was like, oh my gosh, how awesome. Okay, yeah, totally, we can do that, And I always say That's my way of saying etc., etc. So I sent over the agreement, and I heard nothing back. Sent over the agreement, I heard nothing back. I emailed him I emailed him about an hour after, and I said, hey, I sent over the agreement. Let me know you got it, and once it's signed, we'll do Ah, gosh, I keep doing Oh, whatever, you're gonna deal with it. So So I didn't hear anything back. And so I put him into a follow-up sequence that I put everyone who I've had. This comes from a guy named Stelly FD who runs close.io. You never stop following up with people that you've had a good conversation with until they say, stop talking to me. Okay. So I started following up. I started a sequence that follows up. The first thing that says, hey, is basically, hey, did you get my email? And then the next thing is is a funny GIF that is a character from Little Rascals, just waiting. And then the next one is it's kind of sitting there bored waiting. Next one is just another email and another email. But after on the fourth email, it's kind of like, okay, hey, I'm going to stop bugging you, but I'm also going to keep in touch with you for the next, maybe a couple months, and then I'll go to quarter and everything like that. But it never stops following up. And so this morning, I basically wrote it off, and I totally forgot about it. I'm thinking of getting other customers, other clients, and so on. And so this morning, I woke up at 4:00 to take the dog out to go poo-poo because she's still a puppy, so she can't go fully the full entire night. I take her to go poo-poo. Yes, I said poo-poo. At 4:00. And I come back, check my email on my phone, which I normally don't in the morning, which was odd. And boom, it said, so-and-so has signed the agreement. And I was like, wait, what? How did that happen? It was 4 a.m. He is on the East Coast, but it's 4 a.m. What the heck? My time. So I look and I see that about 5 minutes prior, one of my emails went out. It was the GIF of the little rascal just waiting. Literally no subject line, no nothing. It was just literally an email with that GIF. And he then wrote back and said, I just signed the agreement. And I was like, what? Cool. So, why is this important? One, it's important because there was a process in place. I decided, which was really hard. It was really against everything that I felt that was natural. I do not want to bug people. I do not want to follow up with people and make them hate me or feel like I'm being annoying. Against everything that I naturally feel, I said, no, I'm making this decision based off of what I was learning business-wise, that I'm going to follow up with people whom I had a conversation with that went positively. If it was a positive conversation and they seemed interested and they said they were going to move forward, I'm going to have that conversation with them. I'm going to follow up with them constantly. Not constantly, but consistently. It might be 3 days and then 7 days and then 2 weeks, then a month, then a quarter, every quarter. But I'm going to consistently follow up. And I'm going to set a system that allows me to do that and set and forget. So trusting that process, trusting that system led to a sale that I would not have had. I would have let that sale go. I 100% sure I would have let that sale go. I would have never heard from him again. He would have gotten too busy, would have found another solution, and I would have let that sale go. But because there was a process in place, I decided that I'm going to create this process. It's going to be there, and I'm going to trust it, and I'm going to do it. By trusting that process, it ended up being a very big sale, because this is going to lead to a lot of other things as well. So what right now is a process that you are not trusting? Maybe it's a process, maybe you're seeing a marriage counselor with your husband or your wife, and you're just not listening. You're not trusting that process that the counselor's giving, the advice that the counselor's giving. You're not trusting that yes, it's going to take some work, but these are the things that you have to do in order to redevelop that relationship, in order to save that marriage. Maybe you're training. Maybe you're with a personal trainer, or you're doing CrossFit, or you're doing something where it's uncomfortable and you don't like it and it's hard and you're not trusting the process. Or maybe it's something in your business that you have a consultant, or you know that you need to put in place that you're just not doing and you're not trusting. What's that one thing? That one thing is so important, and I want you to consider trusting the process this week. Trust that process this week, and I assure you, you're going to see some pretty amazing results from it. All right, this is Dean Soto with freedomin5minutes.com, also prosulum.com. If you're looking for a systems and process virtual assistant who can literally duplicate what you do in 5 minutes, duplicate a process in 5 minutes so you never have to do it again, go to prosulum.com, prosulum.com. If you want more Freedom in 5 Minutes stuff, go to freedomin5minutes.com as well. All right, I will see you in the next episode.